Welcome into the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here in the office of Central Phoenix with Petey, who is still in his mother-in-law's house in Iowa.
Tomorrow.
Still there
tomorrow.
somehow. Feels like you've only ever been there.
I know, tomorrow. You know, between Petey at the playoffs and Petey at the in-laws, this has been a long, long time since I've been in the studio.
It really has.
Monday.
Yes, you'll be back Monday, and the three of us haven't even been all together since I think Canada Day was our last show all together.
One time, and then we had the draft. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's been a crazy month for it being July. And of course, we're without Craig today. He is currently undergoing surgery. He is out with a lower body injury. The PHNX injury report. We do not know if he's day to day or week to week yet, but we will update everybody as soon as we know more. But Craig did think to record himself this morning, and this is what he sent us.
3:45 a.m. wake up, 4:45 a.m. departure. Here we go, guys. The moment of truth is here. And
we haven't heard from him since.
Oh no.
Hopefully everything goes okay today, and we'll check in with Craig a little bit later today. So it'll just be me and Petey holding it down. Have you ever gotten a crazy surgery, Petey, or anything? Have you ever gotten surgery? Okay.
Knee surgery, but but I had surgery when I was playing in high school, and that's back in the 80s. It's like now you get those kind of, the arthroscopic surgery. You're in and out, and you're playing in a day or two.
Yeah.
Back then, in the 80s, in Bemidji, Minnesota, turns out it wasn't like that. So that was it. That was it. No big deal. In and out. Played a couple weeks later. Craig is going to be, I think, recovery a little slower. Have you heard from his wife? We'll have to go to his wife next.
Yeah, we'll check in after the show, but we're gonna talk about something that came up this week. I don't know if anybody saw, but the LA Kings, everyone's favorite because Arizona Coyotes fans just love the LA Kings, and Dustin Brown. The LA Kings announced that they will be unveiling a statue for Dustin Brown outside of Crypto.com Arena, which is just Staples Center forever to me, but they will unveil us. They're going to retire his number and give him a statue outside of their arena. First of all, what are your thoughts on this? And this is hard for me because as a lifelong Coyotes fan, I despise Dustin Brown. I'm sure he's a fine person, but I despise him. So this is disgusting to me.
And that's where this starts. First, it starts as a Coyotes fan. And you start with where Dustin Brown falls in the legacy of the Arizona Coyotes. He is not well liked here. First of all, he's an LA King, and that puts you on the wrong side to begin with because beat LA. But then he personally is a player you love to hate. That's the kind of player he was. Like he draws a lot of penalties. He's actually a little bit, we'll say, dirty. People on their Kings side will say no. 2012 playoffs, he knocks Radoslav Klesa out of the playoffs with a knee-on-knee hit, no call. That's where the hatred really began for me. And so I think this, just on that alone, I have a hard time with this as an Arizona Coyote follower fan. But then I go deeper. And this is where I start to, your statue is a big deal. Like you build a statue for, that's a big deal. Getting a statue or a bust, or big deal. Dustin Brown? And I'm trying to think in the legacy of the LA Kings. They had a trophy. Their first trophy in front of Crypto.com Staples Center was Wayne Gretzky. It was Wayne Gretzky in LA.
Yeah.
Got it. Luc Robitaille. Makes sense. Dustin Brown? Is he in that same conversation? Like I Marcel Dion, maybe. Rogie Vachon, maybe. Charlie Simmer. Even go Charlie Simmer in that era. Dustin Brown, is he that for the LA Kings? Man, I don't know. I know.
And that kind of brings up the debate of what makes somebody earn a statue, because if you pull up Dustin Brown's NHL stats, he was in the NHL for 18 years. He played over 1,000 games. Those are huge accomplishments. He was with the same team the whole time. All of those things, huge accomplishments. He won 2 Stanley Cups with the LA Kings. He had 712 points in the NHL. All of those are significant accomplishments. But when I think of the LA Kings, as not an LA Kings fan, I think Drew Doughty, Anze Kopitar, Jonathan Quick before I ever think about Dustin Brown.
For sure. And when you talk about their Stanley Cup era, who had a bigger hand in those cups? Is it Kopitar, Quick, and Doughty, or is it Brown?
And Dum Dum brings up a good point. Like he was captain.
Dum Dum. Oh, never mind.
That's what his name. And we don't know what happened. Like I don't know exactly what happened there, but I don't know. It's just bizarre.
I want to put some historical context onto this. So Leah and I, surprising enough, without Craig here, we still did some homework. And you start to go around the National Hockey League at arenas that have statues, right? And you go, okay, well, other teams must have done this, and they have. And right off the top, because it goes alphabetical, the Boston Bruins have a singular trophy.
Statue.
Yeah, why do you say statue? It's Bobby Orr.
Yeah,
it's Bobby Orr, and it's the iconic pose of him scoring the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Finals over St. Louis Blues, where he's diving and falling out. That's the statue. Like, what's Dustin Brown's going to be? Tripping somebody in the corner, or cheap shot and punching somebody in the face? Like, I don't know what his trophy is. Like, a trophy, statue. I'm going to write the word statue down so I don't say trophy anymore. I don't get what it is, because you continue to go on the league and you go around. Sean DePaz's hometown Buffalo Sabres.
French Connection, baby.
By the way, you see those fucking statues.
This is gonna be a drinking game.
I know. You see the statues in Buffalo, and if you haven't seen them, they're the French Connection: Gilbert Perreault, René Robert, and Rick Martin. You see go look at the trophies. I quit. I just quit. Go look at the statues. They're absolutely phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Again, I go back. What is it? Gretzky's outside of in Edmonton. Detroit Red Wings, Ted Lindsay, Gordie Howe.
Yeah. Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh, Brodeur in New Jersey. Just legends. These are legends.
Those are the statues. Those are statues. Legends. Is Dustin Brown a legend? Like, maybe. And again, I don't want to take, and I know Dustin's probably listening because he listens to our show regularly, of course. So on his drive on the 405, he's checking it out, but a nice guy, might be a wonderful guy, might be. Was a captain for many years there. Great, won cups there. Great, a statue.
Also, wow. I feel like he's looking at Staples Center or Crypto, whatever specifically. Like, you look at the statues. He joins Lisa Leslie, who's one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who are all arguably top 10 basketball players of all time. Oscar De La Hoya and Wayne Gretzky.
And Dustin Brown. Does he know the owners? He got pictures of somebody. Like I don't. Nice guy, nice player, won the cup, great. But you can't give a statue. I wrote the word statue. I looked down that time. You can't give a statue to everybody who's won a Stanley Cup or played 1,000 games. You wouldn't have room in the parking lot.
Is Dustin Brown even a Hall of Famer?
No.
So no. I feel like you kind of have to be a Hall of Famer to get a statue.
I mean, if you look at the categories of the people here and you go, okay, I went to, there are other things, and there are a couple of statues that you go to the Minnesota Wild outside of their building. They have a statue of Herb Brooks. Well, he meant a lot to Minnesota hockey, and you know what he did for the Miracle on Ice team. He's an iconic hockey figure in the state of Minnesota. Not a player. And Roger Nielsen in Vancouver, another coach that was a pioneer to bringing video to the NHL. His statue is in front of the arena in Vancouver. Not players, but they're icons in the game. Ed Snyder, owner in Philadelphia, has a statue. Those are, again, iconic people. So you don't necessarily have to be a player, but I think you need to have some kind of iconic status to this. I would really like to see the guys sitting around in that meeting going, you know what? How about we give Dustin Brown a statue? And what do you think Luke Robitaille did? Wait, huh? You know, Blake. Like, there are so many other players. Jonathan Quick. Really? Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, they're still active player, or Jonathan Quick at least is
right.
still an active player, so I think it's fine that they don't, active players wouldn't get it. But those are the players I think of. Like, if I heard Jonathan Quick was getting a statue, I'd say, okay.
I am getting a lot of, because I wrote the word statue down, so I should get a trophy for saying the word statue. I get it. But, and again, I get on my little rants often. I'm not disparaging Dustin Brown. I am as a Coyote fan and what he did to this team and knocking them out of the Western Conference Finals on their best playoff march in history. So it's okay to disparage him for that. And I think he'd probably be proud that he's not well liked in Arizona, and he'd be fine. I just think to get a statue in front of a building, it needs to be more.
Yeah.
Is he that big of a legend in LA? I go Chicago, Stan Mikita, Bobby Hull, legendary, Hall of Fame. Dustin Brown? We'll see. Have they done a rendering of the statue?
I haven't seen one yet.
I haven't either. I was Googling it and I didn't see it.
But. Yeah, we'll see. Well, so now the question that we have is, what makes someone deserving of a statue? So let's look at the Coyotes organization, and if the new building in Tempe gets built and it's 4 years from now and they're putting statue or statues plural outside of the arena, who right now, and there's a super obvious answer, like Shane Doan, let's just put it out there. Shane Doan, and someone made a comment, maybe Shane Doan isn't a Hall of Fame player, still deserves a statue because of his tenure with the team, what he's done for the team to keep them in Arizona, his status in Arizona, not just for the Coyotes, but he's one of the most beloved Arizona athletes, I would say, as well. So all of those things, to me, like, it's a no-brainer that Shane Doan would have a statue outside of a Coyotes arena.
Yeah, I think clearly that's the obvious choice. And really, really, when you come down to it, as a player, he's probably the only choice that you could say that about. Because I think one of the things you find when you go to these statues around the league, it's a player that is iconic for that franchise. And the other names that might come up would be Keith Tkachuk, Jeremy Roenick would be the next two for me. But Tkachuk was a Blue, and he did a lot of great things for the St. Louis Blues, and Jeremy Roenick's a Blackhawk. And I think even though they did great things here and they were great players here, they're often thought of with other franchises. But when you think of Shane Doan, there is no one else.
What about Teppo Numminen? Someone brought up.
Yeah.
Because and that's the thing, because we're talking statue. Teppo Numminen, his number is in the Ring of Honor. Like, there's other honors that you could give players like of Numminen status. So are you going as far as to say he deserves a statue, or is nobody player-wise more deserving of a statue than?
I think Teppo Numminen is two. Teppo Numminen is two. When he's in the Ring of Honor as a defenseman, he was iconic, coming from Winnipeg with this franchise, a quiet leader of the team. He was a captain of the team. I know he left late in his career and did had a cup of coffee in Dallas, but he is a Coyote through and through. If there is a Mount Rushmore where you have four faces on it, then Teppo Numminen is one of those four faces. Absolutely. He's number two for me. And again, we talk about Tkachuk and Roenick. I think they're honorary mentions only because they were bigger deal. Jeremy Roenick's a Blackhawk. He just is. Like, that's where he had his best years, most productive years, and that's what he's thought of when you think of Jeremy Roenick. He was fantastic here. He was a key player in their playoff marches in the 90s and early 2000s. A great player. I just don't know if he's statue worthy. But that brings up something else then, as you talk players. Can it be for an iconic moment? You had the Bobby Orr statue where he's diving against the game winner against St. Louis Blues. What about record-setting Brian Boucher with his 5 straight shutouts? That was probably a modern-day record that probably won't be beaten.
Okay.
Can that be a statue?
But is that something that'd be a statue, or is that something that maybe is more worthy of a mural on the building? So when I was in Montreal for the draft earlier this month, I went for a walk. This is after the draft was over. I stayed an extra day in Montreal, and I just walked around the Bell Center because I was just curious. And if you're looking at a team with history and people worthy of statues, it's the Montreal Canadiens, and they had multiple murals on the building, which I thought was really cool. There was one with a bunch of players, including Carey Price was on there, you know, and then they have their statue. And not only do they have the statue, but then they have plaques of all their Stanley Cups, which
yeah,
it's going to take a little bit for the Coyotes to ever be in that position. And then because they have so many numbers retired, it wasn't a statue of the player, but it was matching statues, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, just matching things with each player's number, and then each player's accomplishments were on them. And that was all of the players who played for the Montreal Canadiens who had their numbers retired. So that was a lineup. So it wasn't statues of those players. Like Bob Gainey, for example, was one of the ones. You know, you could argue that he's worthy of a statue, like a statue of himself, but because there's just so many, that's what they had. So maybe it's one of those things where, you know, it's like a statue of Shane Doan, but then there's these smaller kind of, I don't want to say tribute statues because it's making it sound like gravestones.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
But it recognizes other accomplishments in the French. And that's where I saw RG in my notes. I had another one that he just mentioned was the goalie goal by Mike Smith. I can see that being memorialized in a different way than a complete and full statue.
I like the Boucher one I do too.
I like that too.
The Diamondbacks, I mean, if you're in their stadium, along in the lower level concourse above each section, they have like pictures with like oh, so and so hits for the cycle, and like Tyler Gilbert's no hitter. Like they have things surrounding the entire stadium that recognize significant moments in the franchise's history. And then in Buffalo, you mentioned the statue. Behind the statue, there's like a bridge between a parking garage and the arena, and on it, for at least for a while, I don't know if they still do, but they had like a graphic of all of like the most significant Sabres, and a lot of them were like the important ones, like a Dominic Hasek, stuff like that. But then there are also a lot of like fan favorites, like a Brian Campbell or a Thomas Vanek type thing. I thought that was a cool way of like recognizing the players that like fans like, but definitely aren't deserving of a statue. Because I mean, you look at the French Connection, like they're important, but only one of them's a Hall of Famer. Like there's no Dominic Hasek or Ryan Miller statue, who are probably the two best Sabres of all time. So it's not.
But it's fair. And the discussion is, and some of this is tongue in cheek, but some of it is real too, because you look at one of the things that I don't know if Gila River did a great job of doing was commemorating the history of the franchise. And I think this gives them, if the TED is to get approved and start to be an actual reality in a real building, I think that gives Tempe a real opportunity to memorialize some of these great players, events, whether it's a statue or like you said, whether it's murals, something. There's a history here now. And I know when they first built Glendale Arena in 2004 and we started the franchise in 96, okay, 7-8 years. I get it. Now there's a history. Now there are playoffs. Now there's significant players and moments in this franchise's history that I hope they can memorialize in some way, like Sean was talking about, some kind of history of the franchise around the building. Because when you go around the league, to Leah's point, when you go into some of these buildings and you see the history, it's impressive. And it gives you a sense of belonging and a part of a team. And it's really kind of cool as you go around the league and see buildings that really honor their past. And I think this gives the Coyotes the opportunity to do that. Now, if there really is a statue, it is one guy.
It's Shane Doan.
It's Shane Doan. And I saw Caleb's little comment. It's the roar against the Detroit Red Wings when he scored in the playoffs and he's in the corner and he's screaming. Iconic Shane Doan moment.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love that idea.
I also have to say, if it becomes the home of Sun Devil basketball, are there any Sun Devils that deserve statues, i.e. a James Harden or a Charlie Turner Thorne? Just wanted to put that out there.
That was me making a face at James Harden, not Charlie Turner Thorne, by the way. Well, it's the Coyotes arena because they'd be tenants of the arena. So I think it should be Coyotes, and if ASU ends up playing there and they have their own locker room area, they can do all of their pictures and stuff down there. That's just my thought. But yeah, and let's just give an honorable mention. And we made jokes about this. We actually have a rendering of it. But Gary Bettman, like, just this could be tongue in cheek, but like Gary Bettman, Coyote savior, he deserved this. He's not a player. He's an executive. He's the NHL commissioner, but I don't know. He could deserve one. Coyotes fans might be the only fan base in the NHL that love and appreciate Gary Bettman.
So I think I said this on the show before, and it bears repeating. During the Stanley Cup Finals, I shared an elevator with then COVID positive Gary Bettman. By the way, it would have been nice if he would have shared that as we were entering the elevator, but we skipped that little nugget. I did tell him thanks. I introduced myself where I was. Thanks for everything he did for Arizona. I know he gets booed all the time, but thank you for keeping the hockey here. And I mentioned they should erect a statue for you in front of the new building in Tempe. And his wife was in the elevator with us, probably also COVID positive. She said, absolutely not. No statue for Gary Bettman. So the wife's Mrs. Bettman is hard against a Gary Bettman.
I have a question. A lot of baseball teams do like kind of like statue gardens, right? Like there's a few different stadiums that just have like 5-10 statues just kind of in certain parts of the stadium. Would that be cool? Or do you think that like diminishes someone like Doan, who probably clearly deserves it more than somebody like a Roenick or
I just think, like we've talked about, there's other ways to pay tribute to significant things like murals and photos and somebody said the thing that I was trying to say, like
monuments.
I was gonna say memorials. I keep going so.
But
like,
monuments kind of in that same vein of memorials too. But you're, I think,
more of a monument than a statue. Because
we do sections. We could do who saved the Coyote section, and Gary Bettman could clearly be there, but that's still a long list. You can go back to Richard Burke, the original owner that brought the team here from Winnipeg. Again, maybe not statue worthy, but monument worthy. And then you can go through all the owners that saved the team. Jerry Moyes, whether you liked him or not, kept the team here, even though he put him into bankruptcy. Wayne Gretzky, who clearly saved them at the 11th hour from moving when he partnered with Steve Ellman. And your current owner, Alex Morello. And he kept the team here and trying to build the legacy in the East Valley. So again, maybe not statue worthy, monument
worthy. Okay, so we're kind of fleshing out.
Wouldn't it be Morello putting up a statue of himself though?
Wow.
Wouldn't he be in charge of that?
Yeah, can you do that?
Oh, and I have to say, somebody tweeted, because when we tweeted out about this show today, and people were replying to the tweet, and somebody had a really good thought. This could be a monument even, but like the fans,
Brilliant.
The fans who fought so hard,
put up with it, and stuck around so long.
Yeah, like I don't know how you do a statue of that because like everybody looks different, obviously. Brilliant. But maybe that could be something that's a monument or a mural or a photo or something like a tribute to the fans who fought so hard for 26 years
and stuck with it.
And I mean, it at the end of the day, the fans are the ones who
like they do it in the 12th man in Seattle, something like that.
Yep.
I like it. Can I go one more category?
Yeah.
Before we leave the statue topic, I want to bring up, if there truly is, Doan is one, but there are a couple. I think there needs to be an area for staff people as well. And there are two.
Steve Peters statue.
Well, then that would be three. And I wouldn't argue with that if you want to put a statue or a trophy. Either one is fine. But there are two guys that and I think need to be recognized in the new building again, regardless. One is Jukka Nieminen, who people might not know now because it's been so long. He passed away in 2010. He was the original massage therapist for this team. Came over from Finland with Teemu Solani. Didn't speak English. And he became a fixture of this organization, this big, strong, burly Finnish guy who died way too young at 40 years old. It's interesting. And I can tell this story now, and I might get in trouble. But you know how you honor an owner or a player or something with a patch, a sticker on their jersey or your helmet? You've seen that in every sport. You'll see a patch honoring that player. So Jukka passed away in 2010. And the Coyotes put a sticker on their helmet that said JN. It was a red sticker with white letters JN. That sticker went on in 2010. And Leah, do you know when that sticker came off?
No.
2020.
Wow.
It was on the Arizona Coyotes helmets for a complete decade.
Wow.
Unheard of in pro sports. Kind of give you an idea of what his legacy meant to the people that were around that organization. So he's one. And regardless, there was an area inside the Coyotes locker room that memorialized him and that needs to be carried over in the new building. And then the other one is Stan Wilson. And he's a guy, the head equipment guy there. He's been there over 30 years with the Winnipeg Jets. And you talk to Shane Doan, you talk to Keith Tkachuk, you talk to Jeremy Roenick. Any player's been through that doors, and I talk coaches, tip it, talk it. You say who gets the statue, they would say it's Stan Wilson. Because he's the guy that makes that franchise, that organization tick. He's done everything for everybody that's ever walked through their doors. And he, at some point, will need to be recognized and memorialized for your Arizona Coyotes. So those are my last 2 statue mentions.
I love that.
And Caleb, buddy, really? Rich. No, we're not getting Rich a statue. Rich doesn't get a statue, Caleb. Caleb started drinking early this morning, I think. He's still at 4 Peaks.
Oh my gosh. Well, those were great anecdotes. And we've been going on about statues for so long, but I just have one more quick question. Wheel of Fantasy moment. It's 30 years from now. Who else has a statue outside of the new Tempe Arena?
Wow.
Josh with his dad.
Would that not be
Logan
iconic?
Cooley?
It's the Scottsdale connection, like the French connection. It's going to be Matthew Nyes, Josh Doan, and Austin Matthews.
Wow.
Latter 2 end up in.
Now that's the statue I want to come back and see in 30 years.
I love that.
I love that too.
Oh, people are saying Keller, Connor Bedard. Yeah, all good answers.
Connor Bedard holding the cup.
Holding the cup?
Like that. The holding the cup. Connor Bedard holding the cup photo.
Keller passing it to Bedard with Karel Vejmelka in the background.
Yes, I like it. That's spin the wheel for sure.
Oh
but
gosh.
It could be.
Datsuk.
That you can have that one, the Datsuk Pronger Hossa line
with the Tkachuk brothers. Oh my god. Oh, we should just do one episode this summer that's just entirely Wheel of Fantasy where we just like.
Well, we got another 6 weeks before hockey starts. So yeah, 5 shows a week, Leah.
Unreal. Tons to talk about, of course. Well, yeah, I like that idea, so we'll do it for sure. All right, before we move on, and I'm putting Sean on the spot because normally I warn him. Sean, I'll give you a second, but do you have a DraftKings pick of the week? Or do you need a second?
Off the top of my head, give me a second. I'll look at some odds.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you.
While Sean thinks of this, because I literally didn't ask him to do this until 5 seconds ago. If you want to tail Sean, because your DraftKings pick of the week hit last week, the D-backs one?
Yes, it did. The D-backs smacked the Nationals.
Okay, so Sean's really, really hot right now with these. So when he gives his pick in a second, definitely tail him. If you haven't already downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app, do so now. Use the promo code PHNX and make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. What do you got?
Sorry, Shane. I'm gonna go. The Astros just got swept by the Oakland Athletics, and now they're playing the Seattle Mariners. I just feel like they're gonna come out with a little bit of a vengeance. So I'm taking the Astros money line, just money line, -140 against the Seattle Mariners tonight.
Okay, all right. There you have it. The DraftKings pick of the week. Thank you, Sean, for that. Okay, another thing that I didn't warn anyone about until right before the show. Last week, we were going to select the hashtag for the season, the tank. And if we're going to talk about Wheel of Fantasy, here it is. We did, wrong for right, all of that last year, which is funny how things worked out. But so we asked Twitter and the Discord, give us your best hashtags for year 2 of the rebuild. And I have all of the submissions. I took screenshots, all of the appropriate submissions, let's just say. And I'm going to just go through and read them. And, sorry, Craig, that you're not here for this, but Sean and Petey and I and the chat with input from the chat, we want to choose the hashtag that we're going to use for the season.
Can we limit it to like 4 and then make it a vote? Can we do that?
Yeah, we definitely can. But I'm just going to go through and
because that's a lot of pressure to put on us, especially with Craig not here. If Craig was here, Craig would pick it and that would be it.
Craig would just pick it, yeah.
Yeah, he would just pick it and tell us that's what it's going to be. But now that he's not here, we should probably put it up for some kind of a Twitter vote. We can still overrule because we didn't say it's not a democracy. We do what we want. But I think we should still put it up for a vote. What do you think?
I think so too. Okay, so I'm going to just run through them, kind of take note of what you like. Chat, we'll take your input as well. So here's the first. So this is from Todd on Twitter. # don't worry too hard. We ain't getting Bedard.
I like that one.
Love that. Keeping it realistic. Okay. Austin on Twitter. # for Bedard. Be worse. And then we said, what did we say before the show? Be worse for Bedard. That's what it should be instead.
Yeah, be worse for Bedard.
Okay. NZ Howell on Twitter said # working hard for Bedard. That one
I don't mind that one.
Purple Coyote on Twitter, # shit the bed for Bedard. A
little aggressive.
Yep. Chad.
Wouldn't shit the Bedard?
Shit the Bedard.
Oh, shit the Bedard. Wow. See, that's what happens when you get the creative people involved. Like DP.
All right. Chad said # build the den, which, kind of laying the groundwork, a different angle. Alan said on Twitter, # collapse for Connor. Love that. David said # for Bedard, but don't sleep on Fantilli. Like that. Ray said # hope Tempe approves arena project. Clayton said bomb for Bedard. Flapjack said bedargerously tanking. Love the creativity there. Ethan had a few. # die hard for Bedard. # dishonor for Connor.
Ooh.
Ogie said # 32nd for first. That's kind of clever.
That's kind of clever too.
Snarky Penguin said tank # tank and bank, like shake and bake. Alan also said # campus visits for Connor. Vagoda in the Discord said # ketchup for Bedard, just to make Craig crazy. Frank in Discord said be lard for Bedard. See, I told you there's so many. We got from What's Up # Bedard ASU bound. Mike in the Discord # Bedard 5000. Because of 5,000
seats. Yeah.
Yep. Chris said hard for Bedard. # a lot of bother for Connor. # getting hate for 98.
Wow.
And then more being lard. We got # crap for Connor, and then bad for Bedard was kind of a common theme. So that was a lot. Were there any that as I was were you writing stuff down?
I was.
Okay. So I'm curious which one stood out to you.
I have 4.
Okay.
That I picked. It doesn't mean these are the 4. It's just 4.
Okay.
I like collapse for Connor. Bomb for Bedard. 32nd for first, and dishonor for Connor. Those are my 4 favorites.
Okay.
Do you have some?
Sean, do you have any input?
I like those. I also like the ones. I like Caleb's. It doesn't matter. The league will still screw us for the Hawks to get Bedard.
Not quite as catchy and doesn't look good on a T-shirt, but
shit the Bedard. I like, even not just because I came up with it, but I think it's funny. But I like the dishonor for Connor. I think that one is a little. I like the rhyme.
And it's kind of dead bang on too. Like it's dishonor. Like you're trying to win, but you're not winning, so it's kind of like dishonor.
Okay, so maybe PD we'll take that. We'll take the input from the chat as the rest of this show goes on, and we'll do a Twitter poll.
Yes,
later
and
today.
I do think later today and after Craig's anesthesia wears off, I think we need to give him the list.
I agree.
And allow him to have some input, because this is kind of something we're going to have to say every day for the next 9 months.
And we could always do 2 polls and then choose the highest from those 2 and then do 1 poll. So, we're open to suggestion, but thank you everybody.
This is the theme of the show. Like this is our show for the next 9 months. Like this is
literally.
Like, think about when we're sitting here at midnight after they play in LA at 8:30 at night and just got smoked 6-2. We can talk about, hey, don't remember dishonor for Connor. And so we can this is going to be very important that we get this right.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you seriously everyone who submitted. We got so many submissions, as you saw, so much creativity. So keep your eye out on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes for a poll coming soon, and I'll send it in the Discord as well. I know not everybody is on Twitter, so we'll check that out. It's actually funny yesterday when Randy Keating was on our show, Tempe Councilmember Randy Keating, and we were drinking beers, which I love that he participated. And he said, pretty good gig you guys got here. And I said, especially like you just implied, when the Coyotes have lost their 7th game in a row and you're doing a post-game show, and it's just you got to crack one open sometimes to get through it. And that's why we're so lucky that Four Peaks is our partner, because
we're going to need it.
Our fridge is always stocked with beer, which, like you said, we're going to need it for sure. And Four Peaks is amazing. We had a great time at Four Peaks all day yesterday. We're there the last Wednesday of every month. And I think all of us, I literally think everyone from PHNX got chicken tenders yesterday. They're amazing if you haven't tried them there yet. But I had some wow. And then I had dinner with a friend after at like a different restaurant, and she happened to order a wow. And I was like, oh, good choice. So we love Four Peaks. And we just announced the winner of the Toast of the Month sweepstakes yesterday. The sweepstakes for next month are now open. So enter to win the Toast of the Month sweepstakes. Go to phnx.com or click on the link in the show notes. And to enjoy Four Peaks, you must be 21 or older and enjoy responsibly. And I also want to tell you about FOCO, our new partner, the leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. FOCO has got you covered with the best Arizona merchandise. They've officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids, and everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. Head on over to foco.com, that's FOCO, or click the link below in the description for all non-presale items. Use the promo code PHNX for 10% off. I did check out, they have some Coyotes stuff, so you can always head on over there, check them out. All right. Last segment, we're going to do a producer power play. It's been a while.
Can we do this when I'm on the road? I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
So we're going to, Sean, I have no idea what Sean has planned. So Sean,
all right. So if you've probably seen this on our Twitter today, it's the best at every number. And it's the best Arizona athlete to wear every single number. And interestingly, we have Boyd on there at 72, right? Like some of these numbers are it got
tough at the end.
A lack of choice more than a significant accomplishment. So my question is pretty simple. Which current Arizona Coyote do you think could end up on this list? Obviously, there's someone like Keller, but then there's someone like Karel Vejmelka, who his competition isn't very steep, because there's only like one other person that wears his number type thing. So that is the producer power play for today, and your time starts now.
Yeah, I think the obvious choice has to be Clayton Keller, just because of what he's accomplished so far in his career, right? So at number 9, the problem is, to your point, the lower the number, the more the competition. And we saw that when we got arguing about Redeem Verbata, which is still...
Redeem Verbata was on there until the last 10 minutes of the debate.
Still a swing and a miss as far as I'm concerned, but that's a baseball reference to a guy that played baseball that made it. So for me, it's Clayton Keller, but then you get higher numbers. So you got to have one of those really obscure numbers makes more sense.
And it's hard because you look at who Clayton Keller would be up against, though. You got Dan Marley. You got, I think the person who ended up winning was
What about Lawson Krause at 67? Is he a guy just because of, again, you get into those higher numbers that you've got a better
67, chance? Yeah, I don't really know a lot of the names at 67, but Lewis Sharp? Who is that? A Cardinal? Well, I don't know anything about him.
It is a Cardinal. And I mean, also, like, Doan is on there at 91. If he ends up having even a single good season with the Coyotes, they could end up replacing his own number with his Coyotes number. So,
wow. How about that? Obscure. And that's where you look at Connor Garland. Great. But you can't get Teppo Numminen or Redeem Verbata on, but you get Connor Garland on. Again, it's
just the way the
through attrition.
It's
just the number shakeout. Lawson Krause at 67 would be interesting, because I think you got to have some longevity here too. And I know some of these numbers don't, and it's just the nature of the beast for building the. Maybe a guy like JJ Mosier. He's another guy at 90 who's really young.
Yeah.
And 10 seconds.
Logan Cooley right now wears 18.
Yeah, no. Who's 18? Who?
Chad Tracy.
Who? 18.
No. Brandon Webb.
No, that's 17.
Tracy.
18. I'm going 18. Connor Bedard. Love it.
No, Logan Cooley.
Oh, Logan Cooley. What number is Connor Bedard going to wear? Logan Cooley at 18. That's my final offer.
No Arizona Coyotes have ever worn the number 96, by the way.
Well, throw that out there.
If someone wants to, if any prospects are listening, you can have a first number for the team.
Well, check back with me in 30 years and see how I did.
Yeah, we're just thinking far ahead.
Actually, I might be literally here. I might be in my mother-in-law's basement in 30 years. That's a possibility, but I will not be on this show in 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
Bedard has worn a couple different numbers, but it looks like he cycles mainly between 98 and 16. It looks like he wore 98 for Pats, but 16 on Canada.
Can you throw us up? Can you throw up the list again? Who do we got at 98 and 16?
98.
16 is Plummer, so that's going to be tough.
That's going to be tough. 16 will be tough. Jake Plummer, that's going to be hard to
Eric
dethrone him.
Swan, I don't know who Eric's. I'm like, I don't know anything about.
I think 98's doable. So if he wears 98,
98's doable.
98's doable.
Definitely. Okay. That was a good question.
I do have to say one of the things I missed while I was on the road was the debate over this number thing. And I know I saw it out today, and I can't say anything because I wasn't there, but I can see some of these being difficult. And I imagine in some of the other sports, they were much more vocal than the Coyote people were. I would imagine. I guess you look to our boss, and I would imagine he would be hot for a couple numbers.
Oh, there was screaming. I have video. Like, there was yelling. We sat there for an hour and a half. I'm not kidding. And it was like, I think more people showed up to that than our last all staff meeting. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
It was heated. So if you haven't, and obviously you just saw the graphic if you're watching, but go on over to PHNX Sports on Twitter because there's a lot of debate going on. Quote tweet it, say who you think is missing. You can, argue. And then also PHNX Sports tweeted out our spreadsheet. So every beat filled out their numbers 1 through 99. And then we looked at the candidates and chose between them. So for transparency, you can go see our spreadsheet that's also been tweeted at PHNX_sports. So check that out as well. It was a really fun exercise, a really fun debate. I'm really curious to hear.
Here's the interesting one you talk about that because Caleb just put up. Can you put it up one more time, Sean? Is that doable? And the number 3 has been talked about a lot. And I just thought even ours, we had Yandel is the hockey number 3. But honestly, can we put this one to rest? There is absolutely no other choice at number 3.
Absolutely not.
Than Tarazi.
Yeah.
There's none. So I saw it on Twitter. I saw it like, come on, absolutely no debate. Number 3 is Anna Tarazi, period.
Yep.
And we're done with that. Okay.
Yep.
I want to say that on our show too, because I'm a hockey guy, but there's no debate.
There's no debate. There's absolutely no debate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, it was a really fun debate. We had a lot of fun with it. And all the sports beats were represented at this meeting for the most part. So great stuff and great stuff from all of us here at PHNX. There's, like we said, even though it's the off season, we're going into August. There's really nothing going on. We're going to have content still 5 days a week here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. And D-back season is in. They have shows every day and written content. So all the written content you can find at gophnx.com. You can check out Craig's mailbag from this week. Lots of great info in there. So become a member today at gophnx.com. You can sign up for an annual membership, get a shirt from the locker, or try your first month just 50 cents if you want to do a month-to-month membership. Join our members only Discord, join the family. It's a great time. Thank you, everybody, by the way, who came out to Four Peaks yesterday. We saw some familiar faces. I saw Charles and Karen made an appearance and Chris. So lots of familiar faces. We love meeting everyone and being part of this family. Petey, I'm really looking forward to you coming back. It's been a while.
Yeah, and you need to I want to tease something. You need to stay tuned, you personally, after we hang up, because I got an idea. So
okay. Also, we have rescheduled assistant coach John Madden, so he will be on our show Monday at 11 a.m. finally. So thanks for everyone with their flexibility on that one. Thank you to John for joining us. So that will be Monday at 11 a.m. And then we'll have an audio episode for you tomorrow, me and Petey again, because Craig will be recovering this weekend. So we won't bother him too much, but we'll be back next week. Lots of exciting stuff. Like I said, it involves Tempe and arenas. That's all I'll say about that. Everyone's favorite topic, Tempe and arenas. So So thank you all so much for listening. This was a really interesting topic and a great debate. Lots of debating because we had the numbers and statues and trophies. PD. So be sure to follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. And follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. We need to catch D-backs. They hit 4,000 before us. So share PHNX_Coyotes with your friends and family. We appreciate your support, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow for an audio episode. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day.